Well, hey there, neighbor. It's me, Angie. Come on. As you can see, we're going to be sitting around the table today. I'm not at my door welcoming you in, so I expect you just to make yourself at home and come on in so that as the rest of us just get seated around my table. You know, I had to put my leaf in my table to make more room for my neighbors. I used to have a smaller table, but now I can sit more people. So don't worry about coming over and not having enough room to sit down. There's plenty of room. And if not, we can make room. Stop the camera right here and go get your favorite drink so you can sit back and we can have our conversation. I mean, if you want to, get a snack, whatever you need to do, so we can have our talk. It's always good to see you all. I'm so glad you could make it. It always makes me feel so much better. Well, I know what you're wondering. Well, how was your weekend? Well, my weekend went very well. I was able to get some rest. My husband was working nights, and there's a whole story about when he works 7 nights. That's for another video. I won't share it now, but I'll just tell you the 7 nights that he works, bless his heart. About the 4th night, because I'll be honest with you, he fights sleep. He wants to sit up after he comes home and, you know, talk with me, and we cook breakfast and all that. Well, then he doesn't want to go to bed. Well, he gets about 3 or 4 hours of sleep, and then he has to get up and go to work. Well, you all that work nights know what I'm talking about, especially if you work multiple nights. By the 4th night, it's not fun anymore. Well, then it affects my sleep. But like I said, that's a whole nother story. So don't forget, go get your drink of choice and let's have a talk. Now, yesterday, I watched an auction that lasted at least, I would say, 8.5 to 9 hours. Now, I didn't watch all the hours at one time. My daughter was here. She and I spent time together. She even learned a lot about auctions. She was like, Mom, these people are serious bidding on these things. And it was a benefit for a family that had lost a loved one. So we watched several hours of it, took a break, got something to eat, you know, come back on, watched a few more hours. And of course, James had to get up and go to work, so I had to see him off to work and all that. But anyway, it was a good day. So down in the comments, I want you to put what kind of weekend you had. I want to know. What did you do? I'm interested. You know, it's not all about me. I want to know about you. And boy, do y'all always comment when we have a discussion about how you feel about what we talked about. Man, it is great the way you all do that. I just love reading the comments. Y'all have so much to say, and I'm thankful for that. Well, today's subject, now here we go again. It's going to be kind of touch and go, but we are all adults and we can handle it. We can. Today we're going to be talking about people that deal with depression and anxiety. Now, several years ago, when people would talk about that they had depression or anxiety, it was kind of like a stigma. People were like, oh, they have a mental problem. Something's wrong with them. But today, it's not like that at all. At least what I've seen and I've been around. Because I know that's a real thing. Depression is real. Anxiety is real. And it's two things that kind of come hand in hand, but not always. You can see a person that's smiling, talking, interacting with everybody, and they're very depressed. You would never know it. You can see somebody that, of course, you can notice the ones that are sad and they've been through some horrific thing. Of course, they're going to be depressed. Or they may be depressed about the way they look, their circumstances. A lot of reasons bring on depression. And a lot of it has to do with, um, maybe there's something going on with you physically. You may need to take medication. And years ago when people talked about taking medication for, something up here, boy, was there a stigma behind it. But not now. I mean, I don't find that now. I find that people are very sympathetic about people that suffer from depression all the time. Now, have I ever been depressed? Well, of course. I mean, the first time I think I ever dealt with real depression was when my daughter was born with a medical problem. And it was very severe. And I felt like it was my fault. My husband felt like it something he did. I mean, we just were very down, didn't know what her life was going to be like, didn't know how she was going to be able to function in the world. And we were depressed. But, our faith got us through that. And to look at her now, you would never believe anything's wrong with her. And there's been other times in my life that I've been depressed, but I've worked through it. And some people can't. And other people shouldn't put a stigma on that person because they can't work through depression. Now, I will share this with you. People used to talk about anxiety attacks. I never knew what that was. I had never had an anxiety attack before. Up until the last day I drove my car. I haven't driven since this happened to me. I think I was going to see my mom and dad. And I got up the highway and was about to turn onto the interstate to go to where they live. And my right leg would not work. I could not get it to go from the gas to the brake. It just would not do anything. Well, I kind of panicked. Of course, I used my other foot. Well, then I had to pull over. Or when I pulled over, I started feeling all this, how do I want to explain it? Because at first I didn't realize it was an anxiety attack because I'd never had one. I couldn't hardly breathe. All these emotions was going through me. It was just something I had never felt before. So I was also in that car by myself, and if someone would have come up, there would have been no way to defend myself because I'm handicapped. But at that time, I could still drive, and I was using my walker. I wasn't just bound to a wheelchair. So I called, of course, my mom and said, look here, I told her what happened. She said, don't worry about it. We're coming. We're going to come get you. Just calm down. It's okay. Because she had never seen me like I was acting on the phone. Well, they get there, and all she kept saying is, Angie, you've got to calm down. It's fine. We're here now. Nobody's going to bother you. Nobody's going to hurt you. And you didn't hurt anybody. You pulled over, and it's okay. Well, it took, after I got to their house, maybe 30 minutes before I actually calmed down and realized that I was okay. That was the first time that I had had an anxiety attack. I haven't had one since. But now I can relate to people that have anxiety attacks. Because before, I didn't know what they were talking about, having an anxiety attack. I couldn't relate to that. Just like people that don't have children, they can't relate to labor. They don't know what it feels like. People that have never broken a bone, they don't know what that feels like unless you go through it. Unless you walk down the road that somebody else has, or, walk a mile in my shoes and then tell me how you feel. You don't know. And that's where a lot of judgment comes from, is we judge or prejudge before we've even walked down the road that person's walking down. We don't know what we would do. I didn't know about anxiety attacks until I had one. So, we have to be careful about how we judge somebody when they're going through things. We don't know. But let me tell you something, neighbor. You all are always welcome into my home to discuss and talk about anything that you all want to talk about. Put it down in the comments. We can talk about it. Now, dealing with depression, I don't really want to get into a major discussion about what you should do, how you should handle it, uh, because it's not for me to say. Because, like I said, I'm not you. I don't live your life. You do. So if you feel like you need to seek medical help or an outlet, spring's coming up, and just getting out in the nice weather and watching the flowers bloom and watching the birds. And, I even have little squirrels out in my yard that run around. And sometimes I sit out on the porch and watch the hummingbirds and the birds and the squirrels. And it just makes me feel so much better when I'm out there feeling that breeze on my face, and just everything's real calm. Now, you may not live a life of calmness. You may live it in a speedy, moving, going. Now, I've been there when I had children. I mean, they were involved in so much in school that our house was like a pit stop when they were in high school, because we would come home, get dressed for another ball game after we had just been to one child's ball game. We would get dressed for another child's ball game, and that would go through Monday through Friday. And then by the weekend, we actually got to feel like we were home again. So I know about that rat race. I've been there. But just remember, if you have children and they are involved in a lot of things, oh, you'll miss it when it's over. Just try to enjoy it right now. People would tell me, oh, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss them, going to all these ball games and going to these school events. My children were involved in academic programs. Everything that they wanted to be involved in, we allowed it, as long as they made good grades. But here's the thing. Depression and anxiety is real. Don't ever look down on someone that has those two conditions or one of those conditions. They are real. And please, if you're suffering from one of those, talk to a friend about it. Talk to your doctor about it. Just understand that you're very important. You may not think you're important. You may not think that you need to go on because no one cares. But I'm here to tell you, I care. I want you to know that you're valuable. You have value. Everybody has value. Just know that. And please, I hope that no one is talking about someone else on YouTube about what they look like, how they dress, what they're saying. I mean, don't do that. Like the video I had before. If you can't say something nice, please, neighbor, don't say anything at all. Because we don't know everybody's story. I mean, you're still learning my story. And there's a lot I haven't told you. And there's a lot you haven't told me. But that doesn't mean we still can't meet here and have our little talks and our favorite drink. And, oh, it's just fun. Why do we have to put each other down and be ugly? I want to have a conversation of joy and happiness and the good things that have been going on. Like, what flowers are you planting? Are you having a garden? I can't wait till I get out there and film where James is starting his garden. I'm excited about that. Now, all these videos about all these discussions that we're having, that's not all I'm going to be doing. I don't want you to think that. I just want to have these things to remind you that great things are coming. Good things are coming. Happy times are coming. You ever heard that saying, what goes up must come down, and what goes down must go up? Well, look at it like that. And, if you'll just change your perspective and just a little bit, our perception is our reality. So maybe start perceiving things a little different, and maybe things will change, which they have for me. Because once I ended up in a wheelchair, I had to totally change my perception and realize it's okay, Angie. You can still have a life. You can still do things. You're still alive. You're able to see your children, your husband, your grandbaby. And I tell myself, every day. You're blessed, Angie. You're blessed. And I go with that. So just think, you matter. I just want you to know. I don't know why I keep saying that to you, neighbor, but I want you to know you do. And until we meet again, I want you to know you matter and I care about you. So, like, share, and please comment, because I know you will. And don't forget, hit that bell. Now, I'm hoping next time I come on with a video, I'll be outside. That was my plan for today. But guess what it's doing in Mississippi? It's going to rain. So I couldn't get out there and film in the sunshine and show you all the spring flowers that are blooming and things that are going on here in Mississippi. But that's my plan for next time. So until then, neighbor, bye.